Rob, and welcome to a special edition of Axel's Garage because we had no intention of even taking the video camera out this morning. It's Easter Sunday 2017 and it's like 84 degrees here in New York. I mean, sweating at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I woke the big dummy up and I said, hey, you know, he's been wanting to take the hardtop off the Blazer, and I said it's a good day to take the hardtop off the Blazer. You could have, the weather forecast is like 3 days of no chance of rain. I said, let's take it off and, you know, and see what we got. You know, I had one of these vehicles back when I was 21 years old.
A vehicle.
A vehicle, yes.
A vehicle.
I had one of these. I bought it brand new in 1991. It was a 1990 leftover model Chevy K5. And I had a full soft top for it. I used to take the hard top on and off all the time. And it has those, give me one of those safety bolts. It has the safety, tamper-resistant Torx, they call it. It's the Torx with the little stud in it. It's a T40. No, one of the ones, the silver ones.
Oh.
Dummies. Okay. So it's got that thing so that you can't take the top off because they didn't want you to take the top off back then. I'll show you if it'll focus. Focus. There you go. All right, it's got the little thing. And I had a snap-on socket just for this purpose that I bought, you know, 30 years ago now, I guess it is. And we found it in the garage, in my toolbox, and I gave it to the big dummy, and we took out all the bolts and went to lift the top off, and the top didn't budge. And I'm telling him, I said, you know, I remember there being some kind of stud in the back that you had to like lift it over, and then you could pull it off. And we're pulling and pulling and pulling. We both got up on a tailgate trying to lift it up. We couldn't lift it up, like weaklings. Could not budge it. So we're looking and we're saying, could somebody have maybe silicone the weather stripping down because it was leaking? You know, this thing is, what, 28 years old? 28 years old. It's very possible somebody took it off years ago, put it back on, it started leaking, so they took it off and siliconed everything, saying I'm never going to take it off again, and glued it in place. So that's what we figured. So now we take out all our implements of destruction to try to pry. Then we got pry bars and giant screwdrivers trying to get in there without damaging anything. Thankfully, we didn't crack anything in the top as we're trying, but we went full redneck on our engineering here and put a floor jack up on the tailgate, half on the tailgate, half on the floorboard, with a 2x4, you can see here. And you know where I'm going. The K5 guys probably know where I'm going with this. 2x4, and we had it up in here, and we're prying, and we got like an inch. And once we got, not even an inch, a half an inch. Once we got a half an inch, the jack started actually going into the floor. It was bending the floor down. So we stopped there, went on the other side, did the same thing. We couldn't even get that half inch on the other side, but we got enough to take like a machete and slide that machete underneath to cut whatever silicone was in the weather stripping, holding it down to the thing. Okay, so let's fast forward. Still couldn't move it. Slid the knife all the way from one end to the other, except for where that stud that comes up is, that positions the top. Still couldn't get it. What the heck is it? So we said, all right, let's go to the front and try to, you know, wherever it's siliconed in the front. So we took a razor knife and we sacrificed that weather stripping. We said, okay, let's just cut the weather stripping in half, so that when we pull it off, the half that's siliconed will stay on the car, and the other half, and we'll get new weather stripping for the hardtop. All the weather stripping was real dry and brittle anyway. We did that, nothing. So we tried with the jack a little bit more, and I started to cave the back of the floor in a little bit, and I saw that rear body cross member actually start to go down. And I said, like, I'm tweaking the whole body of this thing to get the top off. Something's not right. So I took a step back, which we did in a video a couple of days ago when we put the exhaust in. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and relax and think about it. And that's when it hit me. That when I took that top off for the first time, when I had that vehicle new, there were two bolts on each side in the back that were hidden inside the interior panels to prevent you from taking the top off, because back in 1989, 1990, 1991, I don't know what year they started that, somewhere in the late 80s, they did not want you to take the top off. I don't know whether it was a Department of Transportation thing or a safety thing from GM, I don't know. They didn't want you to take the top off, so they put these hidden bolts in going up, and the only way to access them was to take the panel apart and I'll show you. Good thing we didn't really try too hard with that floor jacket. We just would have cracked the top, we would have caved the floor in, we would have done some serious damage, and we didn't. So it's a good lesson for the big dummy, because he's starting to realize that sometimes simple things aren't that simple, and taking a top off a Jeep or a Blazer wouldn't be something I would even make a video on, except that we ran into this, and I'm sure somebody is going to have one of these and be taking the top off for the first time. Apparently, this top may have never been off this vehicle before, because those bolts are still there. Usually, when people take the top off, those bottom bolts never go back on. You don't really need them back on to hold that top in place. So let me move the camera and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so in the side panel, you got to go up and under, and you'll see right here and right here, there's some kind of stud sticking out, but there was a bolt here, there was a bolt there. Oh, that might have been the bolt. Robbie, did you get that bolt out clean, or did it break? Let's see what happens. We'll take the other ones out on the other side. The other side, a little more complicated. We got to get the spare out, and then we could take some screws out of that side panel and see what's going on there. So, Robbie, you got to take the spare out first. So the big dummy is going to try to figure out how to take the spare out. He's learning how to use tools. Let's check this out, how he does it. Oh, very nice.
Is it locked in? You pull the thing back?
All right, Robbie,
yeah.
If you had a flat tire, would you take that bracket off holding the spare on, or would you just take the spare tire off first?
Take the spare tire off first.
All right, there we go. So let's take the cover off the tire. See, this is today's youth. Today's youth, all right? Now, how are we going to get that tire off if you had a flat? Oh, here's Grandpa to see this. Grandpa's going to love this. Come on over, Grandpa.
Okay, what's up? What do I got to fix now?
Robbie is taking the spare out.
Yeah.
And why are you climbing in that way now? Now he's climbing in through the back.
Because it's caught over here.
Oh, it's caught.
Good.
Why don't you just take the tire off the bracket?
Can I play with that? Can I play with
All right, that's the 13-year-old talking. All right, Robbie, if you had a flat tire.
that? Oh, call your father.
Well, don't you think he should know how to get the spare out?
I agree with you 100%.
All right, if you had a flat tire,
Robbie.
put a little elbow grease in it, Robbie.
Gotta go
Tire not moving?
No.
No.
Okay. Robbie,
Stop.
join AAA. AAA.
I gotta take that off.
Yeah.
There you go, Robbie.
Okay. You can't get it out?
No, he's trying as hard as he can.
What about that lever thing there? Don't
He
that
didn't
turn?
touch that yet.
Oh, I think you got to.
That's the... Yeah. Dad, how do I take that out?
A hammer. Loosen it up with a hammer.
Well, I'm not gonna have a hammer with me.
Have a little toolbox. Have your father. He's got all these tools in the garage. Have him make up a
What did I just buy you, Robbie?
Toolbox.
All right, good, you're good, you're good. I just bought him a toolbox.
And where is it?
It's still in my truck.
Well, it ain't gonna do him any good.
Well, it's got to go back
Is this
here.
recording?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Just remember one thing. If your father borrowed something from you, you'll never get it back. It becomes his.
All right.
Always gotta worry about the hair first.
Yep.
Robbie.
You always keep your easy, 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 easy. Get it in the hole. Come on, feel around. It's in the carpet there. Get it in. You're not straight. You're crooked, man. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Bobby. Bobby got it out. There, don't damage these panels. These are priceless. Now, you get the little big dummy to sit on the tire and hold this like this. And then you go in there. First, you gotta break it loose with the ratchet manually first. Put it on there. If you want, put it on an extension, make it a little easier for you.
Fuck, I found these.
All right, what end do you want to use? Okay, so that end has got to go good. Now that end goes good. That's a good pull.
Stop.
Pulled.
Okay, that's enough. No more. No more. No more.
Maybe you should take out the other screws so you can bend some more.
No more.
Good. And drag it back up. Yeah, there is a stud there. Drag it back. I see, so my memory wasn't that far.
There's no stud on this side.
You're gonna break it. I think you gotta lift up that other end.
You got to bring it straight back, Robbie.
I know, but I had to wiggle it first. To put it on.
Alright, stop. No, it's, see how it's hanging off this side? Put it back in the middle.
Okay, what are we gonna do? Take this off now?
You
In the back. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, jeez.
Start that.
Okay, slow down. Okay, go ahead.
You have to
Okay, Robbie, did you get through?
so,
Robbie, put it down on the truck.
Put it down on the truck.
Yeah, and get on the other side. Go underneath. Get on the other side.
I got a nice paint on that truck. Put it on the truck.
Can we take that truck? Hold on. You got shorts?
oh God.
Already?
Come on. Hold it. Hold it, Robbie. Watch me careful.
I got it.
Okay. Go ahead. Now what?
Get
Now
out.
what?
Get out.
You gotta get out.
I got it.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's see what's going on here.
Alright, so on a day where we didn't think we were going to video an episode of Axel's Garage, we actually did, because we run into shit like this all the time. But for those of you who never took a top off of one of these and it has those safety bolts in on the backside, it's a good video. The second bolt, when we thought there was 2 bolts, when we actually took the top off, the second one was a stud and a nut, which was the locating stud, which we just screwed back in and left it in place. The bolt that will bolt in from the panels, we're never going to put them back in, because this top is probably going to come on and off twice a year or so, I guess, you know, as the seasons change, because his plan is to get a soft top in the next couple of weeks. But all in all, it was a good lesson for the big dummy, because he's just starting to really work out. He never did a lot with tools like the little guy, and he's starting to get the hang of it and starting to use the tools, getting his hands dirty. The funny thing is, you know, we did the exhaust and then we did this, and something that's supposed to be real easy and straightforward doesn't always work out when you're working on cars, and you guys know that, and the guys that are wrenching on cars know that. It's never as straightforward as it seems. Even direct replacement, never that straightforward, and he's starting to learn that, which is pretty cool. 2 things that he did this week, both things, you know, the exhaust and now this, you're just taking the hard top off, are not exactly how they go. And it's a good learning tool for him to realize that hey, it doesn't always work out. What should take a half hour doesn't always take a half hour. Sometimes it takes 2 hours. So, you know, he learns a little bit, and he did the majority of the work himself on this thing. You know, I was out here helping him, but he did do the majority of the work himself, so I'll give him credit there. He's getting better at turning a wrench and figuring out what tool to use. But that's all we got today. Happy Easter from Axel's Garage, and thanks for watching.